What if I told you there's a certain kind of order, one that looks pretty good on the surface, that's secretly tanking your earnings and leaving you stranded? And no, I'm not talking about the obvious no-tip orders. This is way more sneaky. DoorDash has set up an invisible map boundaries designed to pull you out of your best areas. Once you're out, you're either stuck in a slow zone or on a long, unpaid drive back. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this trap works, how to spot these orders, and how to build a fortress around your income so you never get played again. All right, let's jump right in. The single biggest mistake I see dashers make is completely misunderstanding the map they're working on. You see the zone you signed up for, you see the hot spots, but you don't see that invisible fence DoorDash uses to its advantage. Taking just one of these poisoned orders can dump you 15 minutes into a dead zone. By the time you realize what happened, your hot zone is still buzzing, but you're miles away, forced into an unpaid commute just to get back to the action. The one good order didn't just cost you gas money for the drive back, it cost you the next hour of peak earnings you were counting on. This isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature. And today we are going to learn how to make it work for us, not DoorDash. So what is this trap? It's the out of zone delivery. And I know what you're thinking. I know what an out of zone delivery is, but do you really get the strategy behind it? DoorDash's main goal is simple. Get every order delivered, no matter how much of a pain it is. Your goal is also simple. Make the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the fewest miles. And a lot of time, those two goals are fighting each other. DoorDash will dangle a tempting offer in your face. Maybe it's something like $15 for 8 miles. It seems okay. It seems decent. The problem is those 8 miles take you over a major highway or deep into a suburb that's technically in a different DoorDash zone. The app is more than happy to use you to get that delivery done. But the second you hit complete, you're in a new reality. They just used you. They played you. They pulled you from a busy area packed with restaurants into what I call the delivery desert, a place with nothing but houses, maybe one slow fast food joint, and a long unpaid drive back to where the money is. This happens because the system doesn't care about your return trip. It only cares about getting the food from point A to point B. By accepting, you solved a problem for DoorDash, but you created a huge one for yourself. Plus, these zone boundaries can shift, making these out-of-zone trips even more common if you're not paying attention. The consequences are so much bigger than just a few wasted minutes and gas. This one mistake can have a snowball effect that ruins your earnings for honestly your whole shift. First, the obvious cost is the deadhead miles. Every mile you drive back to your zone is a mile you're not getting paid for. If you drove 8 miles out, that's 8 miles back. 15 to 20 minutes of unpaid commute. That $15 for 8 miles just became $15 for 16 miles. It became an upside down order at that point, instantly cutting your pay per mile in half. Your great order is now mediocre, even at best. But here's the real kicker, the profitability kicker. This hits every dasher from beginner to platinum. For many dashers, if you get lured out during, say, 6:30 p.m. dinner rush when your map is glowing red with peak pays, by the time that you drive back, the zone may be gray and completely full, and you might have been kicked off, and then you can't dash now unless you're platinum. That money-making window just slammed shut right in your face. Even for a platinum dasher with dash anytime status, this is also a trap. You might be able to log in and dash now, but you've still been pulled out of a lucrative area. You just spent 20 minutes dropping off an order, another 20 minutes back unpaid. That's 40 minutes of your peak hours spent just doing one order. And it's a dead return, absolutely killing your hourly rate, while other dashers in your hot zones kept taking orders after orders, some of the orders you could have gotten. This leads to the final problem, the frustration spiral. Now you're just sitting in your car after you've dropped it off, earning nothing or far less than you should be, getting more and more just frustrated and pissed off, all because you fell for that Trojan horse offer. This is how drivers end up making like $12 an hour when they thought that they should be on track for $25 an hour. They don't factor in this forced unpaid downtime from poor zone management. Let me tell you a quick story about the day that this really clicked for me. It was a couple of years ago, a couple of years into dashing, and I thought I had it all figured out. $28 double stacked order popped up for 11 miles. The math looked good, way over my $2 a mile goal, so I hit accept without even thinking about it, without really analyzing the order. The pickup was fine, but as I started driving to the first customer, I saw that I was heading right for the edge of my map, my zone. The drop-off was in a brand new subdivision, miles from anything. The second drop-off was even further out. The second I completed the delivery, I looked at my map and I realized I was in a completely different, slower zone than mine. My home zone, the one that I started in, this is the thing, it was on fire with a $3 peak pay. The one that I went to, nothing. But for me, I'm now miles away from where I really wanted to be. I drove back. Honestly, I was fuming just looking at the clock, like I have to get back. It took me 25 minutes to completely get back into my profitable area. So for nearly 45 minutes, I was effectively out of the DoorDash game. By the time I was back in a position to get a good order, the dinner rush was now fading, and that peak pay was now gone. I couldn't capitalize on this $3 peak pay. That amazing $28 order ended up costing me at least an hour of prime earning time. I figured I probably lost possibly $20 to $30. That's the day I learned the most important lesson in dashing. Where does the order end is sometimes more important than what it actually pays. You need to start learning the balance of the two. Now, I know I am not the only one that has experienced this. Has this happened to you? Have you been baited into a delivery desert by a really good looking order only to get stranded? Drop your story in the comments below. I really want to hear about it because we all learn from each other's mistakes. And hey, if you're finding this useful and you want to learn how to be the boss of your own car instead of a pawn in the DoorDash algorithm, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. My only goal here is to share the stuff that I've learned the hard way so we can all make what we're doing really worth it while we're out there. All right, so how do we fight back? How do we make sure this never happens to us again? The answer is pretty simple, but it kind of takes discipline, and you have to create your own map. So step one, before you even hit Dash Now, open the app and really look at the geography of your zone. Find where the major highways are. Are there any bridges, or are there any big avenues that can kind of create natural borders? Mentally draw a line for yourself and really get to know your map. Tell yourself, there's no way I am crossing blank highway, or I'm not going south of this street. These are your own personal boundaries now, not DoorDash's. Your goal is to stay inside the area for the highest concentration of profitable restaurants, unless the order has to be really worth it. Number two, this is where discipline comes in. You have to treat your personal boundaries like they're an electric fence. When an offer pops up, before you even look at the money, is you look at the drop-off pin on the map, see where it's going. If it's out of zone, where is it? Is it taking you over your fence that you just drove for yourself? Now, it becomes tricky though between a regular dasher and dashers that are in tiers. If you have the percentage points, then you can decline some of these orders. Unfortunately, if you are a platinum driver or you're trying to maintain a tier, you're going to have to make some tough decisions in whether decline or not to decline is the right way to go with this. Okay, step three. You've got to train yourself to analyze that map in a split second. This takes practice, but you can do it. Pinch and zoom the map if you have to. Is that drop off in a residential maze miles away from other stores, other restaurants? Does it go across a bridge you know is a parking lot during a rush hour? Train your brain to see the destination first. The payout is there to distract you. Don't let it distract you. Ask the most important question: where will this order leave me? If the answer is stranded, honestly, it's probably a bad order no matter what the price is. But I will always say, money dictates a lot of decisions. Step four, master the decline button. You have to be ruthless unless you're in the tier program or a platinum dasher. Stop letting your acceptance rate dictate your entire strategy. While a high AR is needed for a lot of the tier program, one bad out of the zone order can cost you more in lost time and unpaid miles than strategically declining it ever will. You always have to know, if you're in the tier system, where your acceptance rate is if you can decline some of these orders. Protecting your time and your location in a hot zone is way more valuable than protecting a percentage of a bad faith order. This is where the fine line comes in, whether you are maintaining an acceptance rate. Every time you hit a decline on a zone killer, you're saying yes to a better, smarter one that's probably just seconds away. Once you get good at building your perimeters, your fence, you can level up with a few advanced moves. So the first one is you can schedule your shifts. For dashers working their way up, scheduling is a key to guarantee your spot during peak hours. For those with Dash Anytime status, Platinum Dashers, this is still a powerful habit to define which zones you intend to work in and when. I'm a Platinum Dasher. I still schedule every single shift, acting as an insurance policy against getting distracted by other less profitable areas. Next, look for every rule. There is an exception. Once in a while, an order that takes you out of your zone can be worth it. Money talks, but only if you have a plan. For instance, if it is a huge payout that takes you into another zone that you know is also busy, you can zone hop. The app may even let you switch zones right there in the app. This is in certain markets. This isn't getting tricked, it's making a calculated move to work in a new area that's busy also, so you're not wasting miles back. But this should be rare, not the norm or not the rule. If you mess up or take a risk and end up stranded, don't just drive back empty-handed. This is where multi-apping is your best friend. Fire up any of your other apps, Uber Eats or Grubhub, and see if you can grab an order that is heading back towards your main DoorDash zone. That way you turn that unpaid drive into a paid one and save the trip. The biggest mistake you can make as a dasher is to play on the map DoorDash gives you instead of the one that you really built for yourself. You have to stop being reactive and start being very strategic when it comes to DoorDash. They don't give you a lot of time to make decisions, but it's really important to analyze. The app is built to pull you out of position to solve its own problems. Your job is to defend your turf and your time because they're your most valuable assets. So to wrap it up, define your own money-making area using real-world boundaries. Check every single order's drop-off location before you even look at the pay. Have the discipline to decline anything that pulls you into a delivery desert that's not worth the money. And protect your spot in a busy zone like your income depends on it. Because it does. You're the CEO of your own business. It's time to start acting like it. Draw your map, know your worth, and never let the DoorDash algorithm play you again. Some of these orders that take you out of zone can also be stacked orders. Well, don't fall for this stacked order trap. You're going to want to check this video out next, and I'll see you over there.